I was not a reader in my 20s and 30s. I really wasn't a reader in college or school at all. In fact, reading was my least favorite thing to do, even though my best subjects in school were by far English classes and reading comprehension. It wasn't until I was 38 that I started to pick up books again. As I had mentioned before, I was living in Los Angeles. Things were not going the way that I had hoped that they would go, and I was at an extreme low point in my life. And my best friend gifted me this book, and this is the book that changed everything for me. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. To all of my subscribers, just want to say a huge thank you again. I am so grateful for you, and to anyone new to the channel, my name is Matt. I am an entrepreneur and filmmaker based in Colorado. Today I wanted to talk about something that was massively influential to me when I had decided to shift the direction of my life from being a victim to my circumstance and to becoming the person that I really wanted to be. Something that changed me immensely was finding books that created in me the idea that anything was possible. The first such book that blew it all open for me was this, Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. Now, if you're not familiar with who Tim Ferriss is, he's probably most famous for the 4-Hour Workweek. That's also a phenomenal book. But Tim is also the host of the Tim Ferriss Show. It's a podcast that was probably one of the OG podcasts that really blew up in the podcast space early when that particular thing was emerging. About 4 years ago, I had decided to get a lot of my life under control. And one of the things that I started to do was to work out every day. And in my workouts, I had stumbled upon the Tim Ferriss Show. He essentially deconstructs high performers in all areas. It could be actors, it could be musicians, it could be athletes, politicians, investors, anyone who's sort of at the top of their game. I almost dropped the book. Anyone who's at the top of their game, he will interview and sort of tease out their philosophies, their daily routines, whatever it is that makes them great. And so what Tools of Titans is it's a compilation of interviews, as well as, I believe he sent out a questionnaire to a bunch of people who he really admired, asking them to answer his questions for potentially this book. And it is a treasure trove. Is that a thing still? Treasure trove? It's a wealth of knowledge. It's a big book. It's almost 700 pages, but he breaks it down into 3 separate areas: healthy, wealthy, and wise. And each of the interviews can range from 1.5 pages to 6 to 10 pages, so you can chunk it out however you want. It's a fantastic book to read early in the morning, first thing, late at night before you go to bed. Anything to get you into that headspace of success. This is that book. I think my biggest takeaway from this was you should amplify your strengths rather than work on your weaknesses. Now, I still think that there are certain things that can be weaknesses that you can turn into strengths, but I really love the idea of double downing on your strengths. And that's what I did with my production company, with creating videos and commercials. I really doubled down in 2019 and 2020 in the thing that I felt like I was good at. And I have to say that it has blown up as a result. So get this book, Tools of Titans by Tim Ferriss. You've got everything from Wim Hof to Arnold Schwarzenegger to Chris Sacca, the famous investor, to Jamie Foxx. It's amazing. You will love it. Check it out. I should say too that all of these books are linked in the description down below. And if any of them interest you at all, it would mean the world to me if you were to use those affiliate links. I do get a little bit of a kickback on the purchase of the book, but I would be so grateful for that. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This was probably the first ever real self-help book ever, written in the late 30s. This book almost makes you feel, especially if you read it today, like he actually could see the future. Of all the books on this list, this is actually the first one that I read. I didn't get it. I didn't understand the concepts. I had no idea what he was talking about. Upon second reading, that's when a lot of these concepts really make sense. Napoleon Hill, the writer, interviewed people much like Tim Ferriss who were highly successful. And his idea was to figure out what made all of these people so successful. And what he discovered was they all had rich dads. Obviously, that's not it. They all had something in common, and that was that they had an ability to take their desire and their intention and, as he says, transmute it into success. The principles in this book are universal, and it will help you become successful in anything that you want to do. And this quote is the one that makes me think that he could see into the future. The real employer of the future will be the public. This should be kept in uppermost mind by every person seeking to market personal services effectively. The power is with the public. Look at YouTube. That's exactly what this is. Look at social media in general. And to me, that's incredibly encouraging. It's part of the reason why I've redesigned this channel. I want to see what works. I want to talk about the things that really light me up, that I'm really passionate about, and you guys are going to tell me if it works or not. If it's working, I would be so grateful for you to like this video, to subscribe to the channel. It would mean so much to me. But if it's not, I'm gonna know. The War of Art. Now, this is the most specific book to, I would say, a creator and specifically to writers. The entire concept of this book is based upon something called resistance. I've never had a problem making a video or writing a thing, so I don't know what he's talking about. Obviously, that's not true. The idea is that resistance is the thing that's keeping us from doing the thing that we really want to do, whether that's writing your blog post or your book or creating a YouTube video, whatever it is that's keeping you from doing the thing that you want to do creatively, that is called resistance. And this book is all about overcoming that resistance that leads to things like writer's block and the things that we quantify to suggest reasons why we cannot or will not do the things, the creative things that we really want to do. There is just something that keeps you from really becoming the artist that you want to be. And he gives it a name. That name is resistance, and he gives you the battle plan to get over it. So if you're a writer, if you're an actor, if you're a YouTuber, but if you're anyone who's starting a business and needs to figure out why, when the kids are in bed and I've got 2 hours that I could actually spend doing the thing that I want to do, why do I then turn on Netflix? This is a fantastic read for anyone who is experiencing that, who is running into those sorts of issues, and I couldn't recommend it higher. In a very similar vein to Stephen Pressfield's book is this book, The Practice, by Seth Godin. Seth Godin is an author, an entrepreneur. He is really well known for Seth's blog. It's a blog that he started a long time ago, and it's just one of the biggest blogs in the space, or at least it was as the blogosphere was sort of emerging. And honestly, he's a little bit to take in at first. He's very specific about his point of view, which I love, but at first you're kind of like, all right, bro, back off, like leave some room for doubt. But after a while, like most people who maybe rub you the wrong way at first, he really starts to grow on you. The idea is that what you are making doesn't matter until you ship the work. And the idea of shipping the work means putting it out for viewing, for critique, for someone to read, for someone to watch. That is the thing that separates you from being an amateur to becoming a professional. And I love this. And the reason that I love this is because this was a philosophy that I took on when I started my YouTube channel, but also something that I took on when I started my commercial production company. Even if it's not my best work in terms of maybe my taste hasn't caught up with my ability. What's happening is by simply making it and then putting it out into the world to be viewed, to be watched, to be judged, that is when I truly turn from being the amateur to the professional. So many of us get stuck in loops of perfectionism, in self-doubt, in that idea that what if nobody likes it? I can tell you that I have made so many things that nobody likes that not only do you begin to grow more confident about it, you also get better. Someday I will put out Drumstick Man, one of the first things that I ever made for you guys to watch, and you can see how terrible it was. But I learned so much from that experience. Now, that's not to say that you should just make terrible stuff when people are paying you for it. That's not the idea at all. The idea is more that if you truly want to do this, whatever it is, whatever your business is, your dream, your goal, you have to get comfortable with that uncomfortability of being, we'll just call it, for lack of a better word, judged by the work that you do. My biggest takeaway, though, is his delineation between skill and talent. We speak a lot about people who are at the top of their game as being very talented, but the truth is they are very, very skilled. You have to work incredibly hard to get to that level of sort of professional affluence I think that we all want to get to. And that does not come from talent. Talent can be the basis, the foundation of it, but really it's skill. It's about putting in the work, doing the reps, and that is what will get you to that next level. That's one of the things that I love the most about this book. The last book on the list is the one that I have gifted the most. Gifted it so much that I don't even have my own copy on hand because I gave it away. The book is Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Of all the books on this list, this is by far the most impactful book on me of all. Dispenza introduces to you in this book the concept of the quantum view of reality. The idea behind it is that nothing exists in the universe, not even matter, until we put our intention and our attention on it. I know, it's like mind-blowing concept, but when you read the book and you're in the context of it, it made so much sense to me, it was unreal. Much like Napoleon Hill's book or books like The Secret or The Alchemist, the concept of intention, of manifestation, is something that can be intangible feeling at times. This book makes it feel not just tangible, but scientific. I think the best way that he breaks it down is that the universe does not respond to what you want. The universe responds to who you are being. Whether that's a successful entrepreneur, whether that's a wealthy person, whether that's an amazing father, an incredible son or partner, you change your internal workings to the point that your cells believe it and you become it. I don't want to get totally off the rails on a quantum discussion, but because I could do that very easily. But this book was so impactful on me. It's one of the biggest reasons that I am standing here today doing what I love on a daily basis, making movies, making videos for you guys. It changed my entire outlook on reality, on the world, and manifesting the life that you want. So this is a book that I could not recommend higher. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed so far. Thank you to everyone who has watched this video and has been a part of this channel since the beginning. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would very much appreciate the subscription. I would love it if you would gently press that like button for this video. But instead of all of that, I hope more that this video, and if you choose to get these books, that they become impactful to you, that it changes your outlook on life to the point that you can become the person that you've always wanted to become. That's truly my goal. That's truly why I've made this video. It's why I've rebranded the channel. It's because I would love for everyone to experience the massive change, the fulfillment of achieving the things that you want to achieve. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.